is the interest earned in both principal and previous interest. Okay. This is a listening check. Color in the O's in compound. All right, so again, there's a formula for it that you are provided. Okay, you just need to know what the different letters are, so let's go over that. A is your balance after, just like we did before, it's your balance after the amount of years have passed. P is P4, principal. And that's just a fancy word of saying your original amount. So what you start off with, okay? So just like before, what you start off with. All right. Then you're going to have 1 plus R, okay? R is going to be your annual interest as a decimal. All right. N, okay, is going to be the number of times that your interest is compounded per year. This is a listening check. Color in number of times interest is compounded per year. And then finally, T is your time in years. Once you know what that means, it's just a matter of just reading and putting things where they belong. So the very first thing you're going to do, just like you did before, is you're going to write the formula with boxes where the letters are. So we're going to take a look at a question real quick at the same time. All right, so we're going to write the formula with boxes where the letters are. This is A equals, and then principal, parentheses, 1 plus box divided by box. Box. Okay. Then it says plug in the numbers as you circle from the word problem. From word problem. So plug in the numbers as you circle from word problem. Okay, so 1,000. So here's the number. Is invested. Okay, so what does that mean? I take $1,000 and I go invest it. Okay, so now let me look at that. Is that the balance I have after a number of years? No. Is it what I'm starting with? Yes, because I'm taking this 1,000 and I'm going to invest it. So that goes where the P is. So I put the 1,000 here. Okay. Is invested at a rate of 3%. So 3% is my growth, right? It's what I'm growing. So is that the balance after 2 years? Nope. Is that R, my annual interest as a decimal? Yes, this is what I'm earning. All right. Could it be the number of times the interest is compounded? The number of times? No. Is it the time? No. So it's an annual interest as a decimal. So remember, to make this as a decimal, just like we did in our last video, is you just need to divide it by 100. Anytime something's a percent and you want to enter a decimal, you divide it by 100. So you take your calculator and you go 3 divided by 100. You get 0.03. So that goes R right here. 0.03. Okay, and is compounded quarterly. Now, what does the word quarterly mean? All right, so let's go over a couple of words that you may not know. Annual means once a year. Quarterly means 4 times a year. This is a listening check. Color in 4 times. Monthly, how many months in a year? 12. Weekly, how many weeks in a year? All right, there are 52 weeks in a year in general. All right, so once I have this is always going to be the number of times interest is compounded. So this word compounded is always going to give you an idea that you're looking for compound interest. So the number of times that it's compounded a year. So if it's annual, it's 1 time quarter, 4 times monthly, 12 times weekly, 52 times. So in this case, it's compounded. So if I see the word compounded, I know I'm doing compound interest. This is the formula that I use. Compounded quarterly. Quarterly is how many times? 4 times. So what letter is that? My N. Okay, the number of times it's compounded. So that's going to be quarterly, which is the number 4. Okay, so quarterly. What is the balance after, let's say, 5 years? This is a listening check. Color in quarterly circle. N again is the same number here, so that's going to be 4. And then T is the number of time in years, which I now have as 5 years. So that's 5. So I'm looking for my total. right? So what do I have after 5 years after all of this happens? And you just take a calculator and you do the same thing. So you go 100 parentheses 1 plus. Now anytime you're putting a fraction in the calculator, you make sure you put it in parentheses. So 0.03 divided by 4, close the parentheses. Now I close this parentheses and then I raise it because this is to the power of, and then 4 times 5, which is 20, or you can put that in parentheses as 4 times 5, like that. Press enter. All right, so that's how much money I'm going to have because it's money. So money is going to be 2 numbers after the decimal. Look at that number. What's that going to do? It's going to make it go up by 1. So 116.12. So the amount of money I have after 5 years and it's compounded at this 3% is $116.12 in dollars. Okay. This is a listening check. Put a box around A equals 116.12. 18,000 is invested at a rate. So I'm starting off with 18,000. So remember, my very first thing is to write my formula down with boxes where the letters are. So boom, box, open parentheses, 1 plus box divided by box, close parentheses, box, and another box. All right, then now I'm putting in my numbers. So 18,000 is invested at a rate. So P, my P is going to be this 18,000. So that goes right here. Is invested at a rate of 4.5. So my rate of investment is right here, my R, annual interest as a decimal. And when I say a decimal, it cannot be written as a percent. So this is already a decimal, but as a percent. So what I have to do is I have to remember to do 4.5 divided by 100 just to get rid of the percentage. So 0.045 is my R. And it's compounded, so this word compounded means I'm doing compound interest annually. So annually is how many times a year? Annual is 1 time a year. So that's N, the number of times it's compounded. So that goes 1 here and 1 here. What is the balance after 6 years? So my time is in 6 years. So that means I'm looking for my total. And sometimes you're not looking for your total, right? But you take your calculator and you punch it in just as you see it. So I see 18,000, open up parentheses, 1 plus, and then remember anytime you have a fraction, you do it in parentheses, 0.045 divided by 1, close the parentheses, then close this parentheses, raised to the power of 1 times 6, which is 6, or you can put that in parentheses as 1 times 6. Okay, so again, this is money, so I cover up, I need 2 numbers after the decimal. What does a 2 do? Nothing, so this is the answer right there. So what do I have? Total is 23,440 and 68 cents. All right, I'm going to change this question because it looks like I'm asking the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to rewrite this question. I'm going to say that 256 and 74 cents, okay, is the balance, okay, in a savings account that was invested at a rate of 2.5 and was compounded monthly. After 10 years, find the original amount that was invested. So same thing, you're just going to write the formula with boxes. You're going to have a box equals another box, parentheses, 1 plus a box over another box, and then raised to the box and another box. And we're just going to fill in what goes what. So we have this number here. Okay, it's the balance in a savings account, right? This is the balance. So that was invested at a rate of 2.5. So it's already been invested. So that's not what I start off with. It's what I have left after a certain number of time. Okay, so this is your A. So that's going to go right here. So 256.74. Okay. At a rate of 2.5. So at a rate of 2.5, my annual interest is 2.5. And then remember to make it get rid of the percent, you go 2.5 divided by 100. So that's what I have as my R. So up here, it's going to be 0.025. Okay. All right, so it was invested at a rate of 2.5 and was compounded. So I know it's compound monthly. So monthly is what, how many times? It's 12 times because it's 12 months in 1 year. Okay, so that's going to be down here, my ends at 12. This is a listening check, color in that 12. All right, after 10 years, so the time period, so T, time in years, is 10 years. Find the original amount that was invested. So I'm looking for this. Okay, so just wanted to give you a different question because you are going to get these. Once again, once you filled out the information, it's just a matter of solving the equation. All right, so I have $256.74 equals, I don't know what P is, but I can put this entire thing right here because it's all numbers in the calculator. So what do I see? Okay, so parentheses, 1 plus, and anytime I have a fraction in parentheses, 0.025 divided by 12, close the parentheses for the fraction, then close this parentheses, raised 12 times 10, which is 120, or you can put that in parentheses as 12 times 10. All right, so this whole number right here is 1.236. So 1.28, blah, blah, blah. And so how would I solve for P? What would I need to do in order to get P by itself? All I would have to do is divide both sides by this 1.28, right? Because what's going to happen is this is going to cancel out. So I'll have P equals whatever this number is. So P equals, all right, and so this number is 256. So you go 256.74 divided by, now it's very important that you don't round this. So this is a continuous number. So you can either type this whole number out, or you can say when you're saying divided, you see how it says answer right here in blue? You hit the blue button and then you hit answer. And what that's telling the calculator is take the answer you had and put it right there. So 256.74 divided by this equals, and again, this is money, so $200. So two numbers after the decimal, and then look at that number, it doesn't do anything. So my principal amount was $200, which makes sense because that's the question I changed. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how to do it in case they're not asking you to find the total, but they're asking you to find the principal. All right, so let's practice.